Astronomical events such as supernovas and even meteor showers are all possible in your lifetime, and you can observe a variety of celestial events with a pair of binoculars, a small telescope, or even your naked eye, including the next supernova, which is expected to occur within the next 50 years. This is something you don't want to miss. So get your telescopes and calendars ready, because we're about to show you a few of the most spectacular astronomical events you'll ever see. The first one we'll talk about is a supermoon. Supermoons are a common occurrence. They happen on a regular basis as part of the moon's orbit around the Earth. A supermoon will look even bigger when it rises and sets on the horizon. Because of the well-known moon illusion, this is the case. When the moon is at its brightest, supermoons shed around 30% more light on the globe than when it is at its darkest. This is because more of the sun's rays that reflect off the lunar surface reach Earth as it gets closer. Full moons are sometimes followed by the moon passing very near to Earth. An especially magnificent supermoon occurs when this happens. Since January 26, 1948, the one on November 14, 2016, was the closest. It won't be surpassed until November 25, 2034. However, you will have to wait a little longer for the largest supermoon. On December 6, 2052, the century's closest supermoon will occur. Now let's look at a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse happens when the moon casts a shadow over a section of the Earth, blocking sunlight completely or partially. When the sun, moon, and Earth are all aligned, this happens. A new moon occurs when the alignment occurs, showing that the moon is closest to the ecliptic plane. The disk of the sun is completely hidden by the moon during a total eclipse. Only a part of the sun is hidden in partial and annular eclipses. Each year, a solar eclipse may be viewed somewhere on Earth, but this one in the year 2027 will be different. The length of a complete eclipse is usually between 2 and 6 minutes. However, the longest solar eclipse ever observed lasted 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Around 743 BC, it occurred, and it would have been seen throughout southern Africa. The next solar eclipse of similar magnitude will occur on July 16, 2186, but most of us will not be alive to witness it. Instead, mark your calendar for Monday, August 2, 2027, when the century's second longest solar eclipse will occur. It will last no longer than 6 minutes and 23 seconds. The Leonid meteor will be the next topic. When the Earth passes through streams of debris left behind by comets and asteroids, meteor showers form. The grit-like material in these streams gradually disperses over the length of the original object's orbit around the solar system over time. When one of these bits of debris collides with the Earth's atmosphere, it burns up at a height of roughly 44 to 62 miles, resulting in shooting stars. From November 6 to November 30, the Leonid meteor shower will be active, with a peak rate of meteors around November 18. During this time, the radiant point of the Leonid meteor shower, in the constellation Leo, will be visible above the horizon, with the quantity of visible meteors rising as the radiant point rises higher in the sky. Our next event is a one-of-a-kind event called a planetary alignment. Our solar system's planets never line up in a perfectly straight line like they do in movies. On a sheet of paper, a two-dimensional map of the planets and their orbits may lead you to assume that all of the planets would ultimately circle around to the same line. The planets do not all revolve on the same plane completely in reality. Instead, they sway in three-dimensional space on various orbits. They'll never be exactly aligned as a result of this. It's like waiting for a swarm of insects to all line up in a circle around your head. It will not occur. When astronomers say planetary alignment, they're not referring to a literal alignment. They simply indicate that several planets are in the same general sky area. This form of alignment usually never affects all of the planets at the same time, but rather 2 or 3 at a time. On May 6, 2492, the 8 planets will be the closest they will ever get to aligning. The planets will not be aligned in a straight line on this date. Rather, they will be in the same 180-degree wide region of sky. None of us will be alive to witness that cosmic catastrophe unless we discover a way to bring cryogenically frozen corpses back to life. On the plus side, space experts predict that on September 8, 2040, a rare planetary alignment of Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and the crescent moon will occur. The next event will be spectacular. It is a supernova. Supernovae are stellar explosions that occur when stars larger than our Sun reach the end of their lives. When the big star's hydrogen fuel runs out, it bursts. Just before it explodes, its core collapses, ejecting the majority of its mass into space. The probabilities of a supernova happening within our galaxy being seen from Earth over the next 50 years have been determined by astronomers at Ohio State University. The chances of such a supernova being visible to telescopes in the form of infrared radiation are around 100%. However, the chances of seeing a supernova with the naked eye in the night sky drop to 20% or less. So, when the moment is right, we'll know exactly when a supernova will happen. According to the estimates, astronomers have a very good probability of detecting a supernova in time to see what happens at the very beginning of a star's demise. Despite the existence of supernova remnants, no one has yet been able to see the beginning of a star's death. Many objects travel across space, including Halleys Comet. Halleys Comet is, without a doubt, the most well-known comet in history. It comes to Earth's vicinity around every 75 years as a periodic comet, allowing a person to witness it twice in their lifetime. The last time it visited was in 1986, and it is expected to return in 2061. The comet is named for English astronomer Edmund Halley, who investigated reports of a comet nearing Earth in 1531, 1607, and 1682. He came to the conclusion that these three comets were all the same comet, and he predicted that it would return in 1758. At least some comets circle the Sun, according to Halley's calculations. Some space events may only be witnessed from a different perspective, such as from Mars. When the planet Earth passes directly between the Sun and Mars, obscuring a tiny portion of the Sun's disk for a viewer on Mars, this is known as a transit of Earth across the Sun as viewed from Mars. Earth appears to Mars as a little black disk traveling across the face of the Sun during a transit. The event is particularly fascinating since the Earth and the Moon are frequently seen transiting together. However, one of them may finish transiting before the other. No one has ever witnessed a transit of Earth from Mars, but the next one will occur on November 10, 2084, and might be witnessed by future Mars residents. The last time this happened was on May 11, 1984. The asteroid Apophis is the final space event for today. Earth will have a spectacular near approach with the asteroid 99942 Apophis on Friday, April 13, 2029. The 1,120-foot wide object will pass within 19,000 miles of our home planet, putting it closer to us than most geostationary satellites. Because of Apophis' massive size, its near approach will be so bright that about 2 billion people will be able to see it with their own eyes. The asteroid will first emerge in the southern hemisphere as a brilliant star speeding across the sky from east to west, passing over Australia, then the Indian Ocean, and finally crossing the equator over Africa. Thankfully, this amazing and historic event will not be as catastrophic as scientists previously predicted. Scientists were initially dubious if Apophis' journey would result in a catastrophe with Earth. So a lot will happen in the future. Unfortunately, some of it we won't be able to see, but some of it we will. So make a note of it in your calendar and go check out these wonderful space events. And let us know what your thoughts are on these space events.